If you keep falling into lust, even after praying, even after promising God, this is the last time, then listen carefully, because what you've been told to do is the exact reason you keep losing. Most people try to fight lust like it's a habit. It's not. It's a hunger. And what you're about to hear is something most churches never explain correctly. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you 3 verses, not motivational, not symbolic, but dangerously practical, including one method that literally teaches you how to starve lust until it dies. And if you miss this, you'll keep fighting the same battle for the next 5 years. The invisible war. Here's what nobody tells you. Lust doesn't begin when you click. It begins when you agree. That moment, when a thought enters your mind, and instead of rejecting it, you entertain it for 2 seconds. That's where the war is lost. Not later, not after, right there. And what you're about to discover in the first verse will completely change how you deal with that moment. But before we go there, you need to understand something disturbing. Why willpower fails. Willpower feels strong until it suddenly disappears. You've experienced it. One moment you're in control, next moment it's like something else takes over. That's because you're trying to use a physical weapon against a spiritual pattern. And physical effort cannot kill a spiritual appetite. Only starvation can. And this is where the first verse comes in. The first verse. This verse looks simple, almost too simple. Most people read it and completely miss the weapon hidden inside it. But once you see it, you can't unsee it, and it will expose why you've been feeding the very thing you're trying to kill. Verse 1 revealed Romans 8:13. If by the Spirit you put to death the deeds of the body, you will live. Put to death. That phrase is not metaphorical, it's surgical. And what it actually means is where everything changes. The hidden meaning. The original word for put to death doesn't just mean destroy, it means to deprive something of its source of life. In other words, you don't kill lust by fighting it, you kill it by starving it. And here's the part no one tells you. You are feeding it every single day. How you're feeding it. It's not just explicit content, it's the small things. The second look, the scrolling, the harmless curiosity. Every glance is food, every imagination is fuel. And then you wonder why it feels so strong, because it's well fed. The starvation strategy. So here's your first weapon, not complicated, but extremely uncomfortable. A 24-hour fast for your eyes. No triggers, no wandering glances, no scrolling that leads to temptation. And when a thought hits, you don't fight it. You cut off its food immediately. But most people fail here for one specific reason. Why? Most people fail this step because they still entertain the thought. They don't act on it, but they let it stay. And that is feeding it. Even imagination is nourishment. So starvation must be complete. But this leads to a deeper question. What happens when the thought refuses to leave? The second layer of the war. Because sometimes you cut off the visual triggers, but the mind keeps replaying. That's when frustration begins. That's when people say, "Why isn't this working?" And this is exactly why the second verse is not optional, it's essential. The second verse, setup. Most people quote this verse wrong. They focus on the second half and completely ignore the first, which is why they keep losing. Verse 2 revealed James 4:7. Submit yourselves therefore to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Did you catch it? Submit comes first, not resist. The fatal mistake. Most people try to resist without submitting. So they fight in their own strength and lose every time, because resistance without submission is just delayed failure. What submission really means. Submission is not a feeling. It's a decision. It's the moment you say, God, my way doesn't work, and mean it. Because as long as you still believe, you can handle it alone. You haven't submitted. The 30-second weapon, action step. Here's what you do. Memorize this. God, I cannot win this on my own. Right now, I give you control over this desire. Replace it, remove it, lead me out. Say it immediately, when temptation starts. Not later, not after you struggle. Immediately. Why this works? Because something shifts the moment you stop fighting alone. But there's still one missing piece. Because even after submission, and even after starvation, something still pulls you back. And this is where the third verse changes everything. The third verse, tension build. This is the verse that most people misunderstand completely. They think it's about avoiding sin. It's not. It's about replacing hunger. Verse 3 revealed Galatians 5:16. Walk in the Spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Notice what it doesn't say. It doesn't say, stop lust first. It says, walk, and then you won't fulfill. The reversal principle. You don't remove lust first, and then walk in the Spirit. You walk first, and lust loses power. This is the reversal, and this is where most people get stuck. The empty space problem. When you remove lust, you create a vacuum, and if you don't fill it, it comes back stronger. That's why discipline alone fails, because it creates emptiness, not transformation. The replacement strategy. So here's what you do. Every morning, before your phone, before distractions, spend 10 minutes in stillness. No music, no noise, just awareness of God. This isn't religion, this is alignment. Why this is powerful? Because what you feed first in the day becomes strongest. If lust gets your attention first, it dominates. If the Spirit does, everything shifts. The real battle revealed this entire fight is about attention. What you focus on grows, what you starve dies, and what you replace transforms you. The trap most people fall into. They try everything, but inconsistently. One day strong, next day careless, and inconsistency feeds the cycle. The three-step system: starve it, cut all fuel. Submit first, don't fight alone. Replace it, walk in the Spirit, miss one, and the cycle continues. The deeper truth. But there's something even deeper, something most people don't realize, that silently keeps them stuck. And once you see it, you'll understand why this struggle feels so persistent. Identity versus behavior. If you see yourself as someone trying to quit lust, you're already losing, because your identity shapes your actions, not the other way around. The shift you don't fight as a weak person, you fight as someone who has already been given authority, and that shift changes everything. The internal voice. Listen to your thoughts. Do they sound defeated or authoritative? Because that voice is either feeding the cycle or breaking it. The moment of choice, every temptation, is a moment, a small window, and what you do in that window decides everything. Why delay is dangerous. The longer you hesitate, the weaker you become. Immediate action is your advantage. The 5-second rule. You have about 5 seconds before the thought takes root. Act within that, or it grows. The power of interruption. Break the pattern immediately. Stand up, move, speak. Don't stay passive. The environment factor. Your environment matters more than you think. Triggers are everywhere. Control what you can. Digital discipline. Your phone is either your greatest weakness or your greatest tool. Decide. The lie of just one time. It's never one time. It's a doorway, and once opened, it's harder to close. The cost of continuing. This isn't just a habit. It affects your mind, your focus, your spiritual clarity. The freedom vision. Imagine clarity, control, peace. That's what's waiting. the final warning. But there's one last thing that silently destroys progress, and most people never notice it. Complacency. The moment you think, "I'm fine now," you become vulnerable again. Stay alert. The daily reset. Every day, start fresh. No pride, no overconfidence. The long game. This is not instant, but it is certain if you stay consistent. The line in the sand right now, you're either serious or you're not. There's no middle ground. The declaration. If you're ready, type this in the comments. I submit. Not for others, for yourself. Because that one decision can mark the moment everything changes. And if this opened your eyes, then the next video will shake you even more. Because there are verses most churches avoid completely. And once you see why, you'll never read the Bible the same way again.